Well, hello. I don't know why I've got something really weird going on the screen today. Okay, there you go. So happy Super Soul Sunday to you. Happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there in the world. I wanted to speak to a question that I've been getting in a couple of different ways, shapes and forms since the webinar on Friday around how to heal from an interrupted childhood and how you can work through repressed trauma on your own if you aren't getting support. So first of all, I just say take some time today to just consider any diagnosis or prognosis is just your body mind responding to something that is out of order, disorder. But I know it's difficult, but not to get attached to labels. In my practice, I don't diagnose or prescribe. I look at what's the body's priority at the moment, because when you're in a state of conclusion, you can't be in a space of questioning what else is possible. You've kind of made up your mind. When you're in conclusion, when you're identifying yourself as the label, as the disorder, you can't be anything greater than that. So when I speak about self-love being a deficit, I didn't even realize until I was actually working on something the other day that someone's actually trademarked self-love deficit disorder as an actual thing, which was quite funny. But I want to sort of just challenge you today to know that what I'm speaking to is a longing to be able to respond to a desire to just be deeply loved and connected and seen in a place of safety where you belong, right? You belong to yourself so you can give love and receive love. So it's not a disorder at all. It's really just a response. It's a cry from our body mind to just stop this great separation sickness where everybody has that in common. We all just want to be loved, and we don't want to be afraid, and we want to live in a fuller version of connection, of letting life and others touch us, and for us to touch life, from the heart space, from that sort of deepest longing, to be in the action of love. So instead of buying disorder or label of something as a disorder, I challenge you to sort of just look at what does it mean to be whole, heal, and full of yourself. If I'd bought that diagnosis that I had bipolar disorder, or that those tumors in my brain were, going to kill me, I wouldn't be here today speaking to you. So my question really is, and one that I asked myself over and over again every single day, is what if there's nothing wrong with me? And what if we could just focus more on getting to the root cause of what the physical and emotional trauma is instead? And rather than looking for a cure or a quick fix to chronic illness or mental disease, what if the key is education? Finding out what is your attachment style, looking at what the value of curating that disease is for you, and how you can start trusting your body, mind again as your greatest consciousness facilitator. What if you could start looking at your sensitivities as capacities, like your superpowers, all you empaths out there. I know that you're not flawed. These are just incredibly amazing design features that are unique to you. And what if you could just trust that you're more than all of that, and just start to reframe where you're feeling touched or alone. And I encourage you to just go through those 5 little videos that I offered as a free gift on how you can use 5 very simple magic little words to spell into being what it is that you want, not what you don't want. And instead of looking at what's happening to you, is something wrong, you could just start to be really mindful about what's happening in your body as a response, as a cry from your body. I've got my dog here. The innate intelligence of your body is trying to get your attention so that you can really start to be responsive. You check in and go, okay, what am I noticing right now? Who am I being in this moment? And what's ready to rise to the service for you to heal? Because in order to become whole, which is all healing is, we have to all take responsibility for our own healing journey and just allow ourselves to breathe and to give and receive more, and to just take advantage of all the incredible resources that your body and your mind and your heart is giving you all the time as part of this incredible universal consciousness. A bug went up my nose. Because does it make sense that if we're going to heal this great separation sickness that's been created from diagnosis and prognosis and ranking, and from a very external influence that's all built from fear and lack and scarcity? It's that poverty consciousness that's been programmed into us, and it's out in the morphic field. So we each have to play our own part, do our own shadow work, educate ourselves, and then do the training in using our alchemy in what we're spelling into the world and how we're viewing chronic illness and mental health for a start, and just to become more trauma informed. And I'm talking about, on all levels: physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. Bypassing is there. And I think there's nothing more important than you can do than your own trauma work. And wow, what a gift that contribution is to the whole. When you actually know that by doing your own work, you're changing that for other people as well. And I think that's a place where we have to ask better questions, and also demand that from mental health professionals and doctors and practitioners and spiritual teachers and healers, that all of us do our own trauma work as well. Otherwise, we're just perpetuating this cycle of abuse, this watiko, this virus of the mind that we talk of in shamanic circles, and I've spoken about in other videos. So just remember, you're perfectly made. And in the contrast of perfection or imperfection, it's our meaning making that we put on it. So, know that you're loved, that there's nothing wrong with you, and that you've done a brilliant job coming this far through your not limiting patterns, but your defensive and protective patterns and beliefs that have kept you safe this far, and that you've done everything humanly possible that's got you to this point where you can now be open to going even deeper and healing much faster and quicker. These are the brain hacks, the nervous system hacks, where you become more trauma informed and you get to work through repressed trauma much, much quicker. So to answer the question, when you're looking at any kind of trauma, just remember to look at it from a very multidimensional perspective. You're more than just your mind and your body, and in order to view childhood trauma or any trauma, you have to heal it at the level of the cells, right? It's held in our body, it's held in our chakra systems, it's held in our energy systems, in our meridian pathways. It holds in every cell of our body until our body eventually says no. And it's also coming in on your DNA blueprint, above the gene, the epigenetics from past lives that you've carried into this life, and your family and your intergenerational trauma patterns that you've attached to. So when you can look at it from a very multidimensional, more spiritual perspective, when you're looking to heal trauma, that's what's really going to help you. If you start to begin to understand trauma, that it's something that's held and stored, not just in your mind, not just in your body, but in every part of your body-mind system that makes you you. That's when you can really begin to touch on how impactful it can be to look at different areas and different modalities and different ways of healing. You're not just going to be able to heal from trauma from the mind. In fact, you can't heal it from the state of the mind. You've got to bring it into your body somatically. You have to be able to feel it in order to heal it and move on. But let's just say you don't have the financial means right now to work with a healer, or you don't really want to and you want to do it on your own. Here's how you can start doing this yourself. if you're not willing or prepared or don't have the money to go to a healer right now. One of the ways I find really helpful if you want to do it yourself is you've got to commit, and you've got to set out an intention. You've got to acknowledge you're the co-creator of your life, and you have to use your intention towards your highest, greatest good. So if you want to move deeper into healing and you want to start to get some of this unresolved trauma to the surface, sit in meditation. And you could say, use mantra, the power of words, to say, I am ready to see what is ready to be healed within. And you could say that over and over again, and be very mindful that you're working through these layers of your trauma, of what needs to be seen, right? And what things you have been unseeing to keep you stop. So, I think so many people make themselves wrong because they're doing a lot of work, or they're doing ayahuasca or plant medicine, or they're working with a healer, but thank you for the hearts, but they make themselves feel wrong because they don't get what they want out of it, right? And I just want you to say, be gentle with yourself, because sometimes it takes months or years before the nervous system is primed enough to be able to work with that without re-traumatizing yourself. So you've got to learn to work with the universe as your co-creator. You've got to believe that you're being divinely guided and supported, that everything is going to come up for you to heal when you're ready. And you can't rush that. So we need to learn patience. And when you start to set that intention that you're ready to see what needs to be seen, and you're ready to unsee what needs to be unseen, and you can just sit with a very soft, gentle focus. You're not being intense and forcing yourself or your mind to go where it can't go yet because you're not ready for it. This is where you tell the universe that you're ready to see what needs to be seen, no matter how scary or emotional or painful it might be. And then every day you just reinforce, you're building that muscle, you're rewiring your nervous system by just sitting in that space, holding space where you're feeling your energy system, you're feeling your chakras, you're feeling your energy body, you're feeling your physical body, and you're being the silent witness, you're being the observer, right? So sitting in meditation, after you've given the intention, you've made the demand to see what needs to be seen, then you allow yourself the space to just breathe and to start seeing what comes to the surface, what emotions you're feeling. A lot of people, when they're doing this work, images come up, colors, tastes, feelings, all the senses are engaged, including your sixth sense. And your body might have a somatic release. You might feel like you have uncontrollable shaking or shivering. Your parts of your bodies might start to cramp. Whatever it is, there's nothing to do. Just be in that awareness that you're in that self-healing space, because things can come up in the middle of meditation. So it's important to have a journal that you can write down some of that as it sort of comes up. I journal all the time. I find it very cathartic, and it's very important work when you're healing past trauma. So when you're sitting in meditation, ask for universe, your guides, your ancestral helping spirits to support you to see what you need to see. And then just start writing automatically. I find that when you start writing or just automatically letting your hand go, and it might start with an image or an emotion that you write down. And as soon as you start writing that down, the memories will start to come up. And it's just like watching this movie, right? Because you're activating the projector part of your brain to actually show you what you need to see. And your spirit will help you guide you through that. But if you're doing this on your own, when any kind of repressed energy or emotion comes up, just allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. If you need to cry, cry. If you need to scream, scream. If you are willing, when you're in that state of total surrender, and you just keep writing, you keep watching that movie play out, and as you allow that memory just to keep coming up in your mind's eye, you'll notice that when You just sit there and you allow your body to follow its natural impulse, to get angry, to scream. If you just surrender to the process, that's 99% of the healing. Hi, Rodriguez. Oh, thank you. Yeah, so, just remember, trauma, sometimes we think they have to be much more complicated than they really are, or bigger than we think they are. And the most important thing you can do is just to allow yourself to feel it without any judgment, rejection, any kind of fight or resistance. When you're no longer in that space of pushing against it, and you're willing to see it, and you're willing to feel it, just to sit in that feeling, you're going to begin to heal. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any further questions about any kind of trauma, any kind of black holes that you might have in your childhood, just reach out to me at accessyourtruenature.com. You can head over to the website and take the ACE test. That's a great step in educating yourself. And if you want to submit any questions for future videos, please just DM me or PM me, or just write them in the comments below, and I'd be really happy to address those in my upcoming videos. And as always, thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with me on your precious Soul Sunday. And if no one told you today, I see you, I love you, and I honor you, and I will hold that space lovingly and fiercely with my medicine until you get to the willingness and the trust to love yourself fully. All right, take care. Bye. Mwah.